Do total electric vehicles have a smaller carbon footprint than hybrid vehicles? Many say that some of the factors are waste in landfill or exhaust from industrial factories, but can these really be the main reasons? Did you know that nearly half of Americans live in areas that don't meet federal air quality standards? It's been reported from the Union of Concerned Scientists in 2014 that the Environmental Defense Fund estimates that vehicles cause about an estimated total of one third of total pollution that's produced through smog and greenhouse gases. As a result, more hybrid and electric vehicles are becoming more and more popular and accessible to the public. Um, Electric cars are not as um, ethical or eco-friendly as it may seem. Here are my arguments. Total electric cars may reduce the chance of pollution, but at the same time, their batteries are not as eco-friendly as they make them out to be. The manufacturers that produce these batteries are producing them through unethical and fossil fuel intensive methods. The communities near these lithium ion mines are not properly consulted to the potential impacts that their communities could be facing due to the mining of these materials. Those that work in these EV factories suffer in many ways. Before we get into the nitty gritty, let's first talk about batteries, which are in every car and may in fact be one of the most important aspects of a car. Green and clean, which is the process that these electrical batteries are produced, are not so eco-friendly as the name insinuates. An online article from 2018 from The Conversation titled Not So Fast, Why the Electric Vehicle Revolution Will Bring About Problems of Its Own. The main components to these lithium-ion batteries are nickel and cobalt, which are also in limited quantity. Because they're in limited quantity, this makes them enabled to be recycled environmentally friendly in an environmentally friendly way due to the current lack of technological advances that we have. Although EVs do not absorb emissions, the energy that's needed to produce these electrical batteries is through burning fossil fuels, which is an immense CO2 emitter. Because of this leads to a larger carbon footprint. So basically, it cancels itself out. In addition, electric cars are heavier than regular conventional cars. Therefore, heavier cars are accompanied with stronger levels of non-exhaust emissions. Therefore, it adds to the fine dust particle problem that we have because it infects the air, it affects our people, and it's going to affect our communities. In the case of consumers, hybrid vehicles are a better investment than electric vehicles. For the most part, hybrids are cheaper not only for the consumer but to manufacturers as well. In the case of manufacturers, as of 2015, full functioning hybrids reduced fuel consumption from 20 to 35%, and also the cost of manufacturing has been reduced in increments of 2,000 to 3,500. The cost can even be less than a full functioning hybrids for mild systems with the exchange of less efficiency. Although full electric vehicles are statistically cheaper due to variable costs, high performance hybrid plugins achieve fuel costs nearly as good as electric vehicles. Due to the average, the costs are split between the two cars. Inflation for gas is expected to outstrip that of a kilowatt hour. This doesn't mean that electric cars are cheaper across the board, since electric vehicles are still very expensive as an initial investment. It's still a better choice for consumers to pursue hybrid vehicles. And also, the charging in these electric vehicles, due to their batteries, isn't as robust as it should be. This also ties into making the materials and resources for making these electric and hybrid cars. Hybrids are cheaper in materials, such as using magnesium and aluminum in comparison to the electric vehicles. Costs of the lithium-ion batteries have fallen steeply and led to multiple advancements in the manufacturing. However, materials that are mined in these places are like places of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which provides 60% of the world's cobalt. These countries are notorious for their lack of poor human track records, and also lack of human rights, and also exploitation of work practices. This means that although hybrids use lithium-ion batteries to some extent, it may serve as an alternative solution to the current economic crisis and Everlong. These working conditions in factories that these working conditions that for the workers in these factories are inhumane, gruesome, and completely unsafe. From a recent article from Forbes, inside Tesla's Model 3 factory, Tesla covered up 54 occupational safety and health administration violations, and it has been fined in multiple incidents due to high incidents than any other auto plant. People that continue to work in these factories because they need to support themselves and their families. Foreign electric vehicle companies have also been accused of child labor and also unsafe work practices. Mining that is taking place in these areas are underdeveloped and underrepresented. These companies and businesses target certain demographics of people so that they can maintain their work. But these areas also face major health issues like respiratory issues, heart issues, also mental issues, and sometimes even death. Indigenous communities are not properly consulted about these mining projects on their lands, nor are they given the correct information that it may have on them and their communities. It is not worth changing from gasoline vehicles to electric vehicles. By reducing the CO2 in the air, people increase emissions through non-exhaust hazards. The batteries are harmful to the environment, and there is no current way to recycle it. The heavier weight of these vehicles results in more particle matter production and is harmful to the air quality that we have and also to the ocean life. The electricity that is used in these vehicles are used by burning fossil fuels. Electric vehicles are more expensive than hybrid vehicles, and increase in demand for these batteries are in limited supply of the materials. An increase of worker abuse or even child labor in some of these factories. Therefore, electric vehicles are not a good for long term. But it looks like these vehicles are a good choice for now. However, the more and more that these companies and businesses are producing them, the more and more time and funds that they should fuel to fixing these dead batteries and also health issues that people have. Thank you.